Welcome, Algebra class. Today we're going to be learning Chapter 6.7, which is on page 269. Welcome back. It is great to see you. First thing I want to do is I want to start off with this. It is called graphing inequalities, right? Inequalities means things that are not equal. So if we start there on page 269, what I want to do is I'm going to graph something that actually is equal first. Then we're going to make it not equal and see what happens. So let's go ahead and start here. Chapter 6.7, page 269. This equation that they gave you, they have a greater than sign in it. I changed it to an equal sign. So if you just change it to an equal sign, let's just graph what it would be if it was equal so we don't have to deal with greater than and less than. Let's just graph the line, then we can deal with what's greater than the line or less than the line or whatever. So if I have this equation here, and again, it says greater than in your book, but I just have it as an equal sign because I'll just graph a regular line. If I subtract 2x from both sides so I can put it in slope-intercept form, remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And y equals mx plus b is y equals mx plus b. My m, my slope, is going to be a negative 2, and my y-intercept is my 3. So y equals mx plus b means I'm going to have a slope of a negative 2. I'm going to have a y-intercept of 3. So let's start with a y-intercept of 3. If I did that, 1, 2, 3. This is where you start always at the 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a little dot right there at 3. Or we could put a big old fatty dot right there at 3. And then I'm going to have to go use my slope now. I'm going to have to drop down 2, and then I'm going to have to go over 1. Because this is really over a 1, right? Down 2 over 1. If I go down 2, so 1, 2, and I go over 1, then I'm going to have to put another big old fatty dot right there. If I connect those dots, that's my line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those dots. Oh, if you miss it, just make it extra fatty, right? Then you're okay. So I got my line. Okay. That's my line. The problem is that the book doesn't say equals. You know this. This is a chapter on inequalities, not equalities. So I have to change that line. It's supposed to be greater than. Remember? Over here, this was not equal. It was greater than, right? This thing's supposed to be greater than. It's everything bigger than the line. I don't want the line. I want everything above or greater than the line. So I'm going to take this line right here, and I got to shade everything above it, because this direction is above, right? This direction would be below. So I'm going to go ahead and shade everything above it. It's everything that direction. It's everything above the line. It's everything greater. My y values are all bigger than this line, greater than that line. I don't want the stuff down here. But what about the line itself? Should I include it? I mean, it says I want everything bigger than the line. I don't want the line. I just want stuff bigger than the line. So I actually have to make it a dotted line. I got to slash it. I got to say, I don't want this line. Like, the line itself isn't what I want. It's just everything bigger, everything greater than that line. So it's a dotted line, a slashed line, not a solid line. Solid line means you include the line. That's if it's equal. It's not. It's only things greater than. So all the stuff that's bigger than, because this would go up, and that grade would go less than. I don't want less than. I want greater than. And remember that this problem was starting off with greater than. I just graphed it as a regular line equal to, and then we could put the greater in at the end. Same thing here for example number 2, is they gave us a line that says greater than right there, greater than or equal to. This one's going to be a solid line, not dot dash. It's solid, right? So greater than or equal to, and equal to negative 10 there. So if I want to solve for y to get it into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, then what I will do is I'll subtract the 6x. So I subtract 6x there, subtract 6x there, I get there in blue. But here I have to divide by negative 2 because I'm trying to get y by itself. Y equals mx plus b, so I can graph it. But there's a negative 2 in front, so I have to divide by a negative 2. But when you divide by a negative, whoop, 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 whoop. When you divide by a negative, you got to flip the sign. You got to flip the sign, right? That's a greater than sign. When you divide by a negative 2, divide this by negative 2, this by negative 2, this by negative 2, the sign flips to a less than or equal to sign. That was greater than or equal to. It flips to a less than or equal to. So I'm going to graph it the same way, but I want everything less than or equal to that sign. So let's go ahead and graph this thing. I'm going to start off at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a big old fatty dot there. And then this is really 3 over 1, right? The fraction for the slope is 3 over 1. So I'm going to go up 3. So rise 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go over 1. So rise up 3 over 1. Put another big old fatty dot, and that's my line. So that's my line there. But this time it says less than, so I want everything below the line, and it also has an equal to. So I don't want to leave it as a dotted line like that one. That's dotted because it didn't have the equal to. The fact that it has the equal to part right here, that's what makes it a solid line. So let's go ahead and shade this one. What I'll do is this direction would be less than, because that's what goes down. And then this direction would be greater than, because that's what's going up in this case. So when I do it, this is all the stuff less than it, and because it's equal to, that is a solid line. Now, I'm willing to do 2 problems of your homework because you kept with me. You guys are following along with me. I'll do number 20 and number 30, I think it is, from your homework problem. Let's make sure that that's right there. Yeah, problem 20 and 30, you hold on with me, and I'll got your 2 problems for you. Just follow along. All right, here's some free homework for you. Let's go ahead and start here. Number 20, a free problem. Write it down. I'll give you full credit here. If you have y is greater than 2x minus 6, we know where we're going to start. It's the y-intercept. You always start right there at the end, negative 6. So go down. Start the origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to put a big old fatty dot at negative 6. And then the slope tells you what to do next. That's 2 over a 1. You can put it, you can always a fraction, 2 over 1. So you're going to go up 2 over 1. So if you start right here where you made your big old fatty dot, you go up 2 over 1, you put another dot right there, then you can just connect your line. So there's your line. You want everything greater than or equal to that line, so you're going to need everything bigger than. So we're going to go up that way. If we went this way, we go down into the floor. We don't want to go in the floor, so that would be less than. We want greater than. Solid line, because it's got to be solid because of the equal to sign. Right? Solid line because of the equal to. Move over to number 30. Problem number 30 gives us the line. We have to come up with the actual equation. So this line right here, right, we know it goes through the number 1. That's the y-intercept. So look what I wrote. 1, because that's the y-intercept. Then we also know if I went from this dot and I had to go find another dot, I go down 1, 2, and over 1 to go find another dot on the grid. So if I had to go down 2 and over 1 to get to the next dot on the grid, then down 2 means negative 2, and over 1 means then over 1 to get to the dot on the grid. So down 2 over 1 is my slope. Down 2 and over 1 is my slope. This is my equation right there, and it has to be greater than, because if I go up that way into the ceiling, that's greater than. If I were to go this way, that would be into the floor, that would be less than. And it's a solid line, it's because you got the equal to. Those are freebies. Have fun with the rest of the homework.